Right, welcome back and thank you so much for choosing and trusting Maisha TV for the incisive and bold bulletin Maisha Prime News. And now, as I promised you earlier, let me usher in Bushebi Jr. with our special feature, The Presidents from the Luoland.
When Kenya got its independence, the Luo nation was united under the strong leadership of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga and Tom Mboya. The two leaders never shied away from expressing their strong opinions on the leadership of the country.
Well, there are two major problems in a developing country like ours. One is the shortage of manpower, and the second is the shortage of capital. Capital both for government activities and also for investment in the private sector.
The late Thomas Joseph Odhiambo Mboya was born on 15th August 1930 and passed away on 5th July 1969. He was a Kenyan trade unionist, educator, Pan-Africanist, author, independence activist and statesman. He helped build the trade union movements in Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania, as well as across Africa. I take the journey on the history lane to explore the philosophy, ideology, leadership and the cost paid by great leaders of the Luo nation. Here is the journey of Mzee Oginga Odinga and his son Raila Odinga. My name is Bushebi Jr.
The press must be a champion of the social, political and economic development of the people. It must thus seek to report on the efforts of the people to bring about these developments. The press must indeed go further than this and champion those social, political and economic systems best suited for the development of Africa.
On 20th January 1994, Kenya mourned its great son, a nationalist and a patriotic citizen. The country had lost its strongest opposition leader, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, known in Africa politics as Double O.
Nikapelekwa Bondo Police Station ambapo ni kwao Mheshimiwa Bwana Raila. Bwana Raila wakati ule tulikuwa tunachunga mji wa kwao kwa sababu babake alikuwa ni mzee ambaye alikuwa anatembea na mzee Kenyatta wakienda Lancaster House na mji wake ulikuwa unachungwa. Na kwa hivyo ndipo kwa pale Bondo Police Station nimewahi kuchunga boma la mzee Odinga.
In the mid-1960s, Odinga resigned from both government and KANU party to form an opposition group, the Kenya People's Union Party, KPU. Mzee Jomo Kenyatta banned the KPU and imprisoned Jaramogi for 15 months, thus ending the first attempt at introducing multi-party politics in Kenya.
Na usikubali kwa serikali aende kando. Ikiwa kama unaona sisi tuko na kasoro, sema wazi. Hapana hapana kaa kimya. Utasema tu kwa sauti ya wale watu wenu ambao iko katika parliament. Kwa maana ikiwa kama wewe iko kwa kiwanjani ya mpira, kama wewe unacheza, unadhani wewe ndio unajua kushinda watu wote. Siko watu wengine huko nje baba wanasema kwa nini hapa napiga kule? Kwa nini hapa napiga kule? Kwa hivyo ukitiwaambia ati jaribu kuangalia kule na kule na kule tena ufanye umoja, hii ndio tutasaidia.
Kenya was declared a one-party state by the National Assembly in the 1980s. During this period, political activity was suppressed and an increase in human rights abuses ensued. Before Kenya attained independence in 1963, many in the colonial administration in Kenya and the UK did not want Kenyatta to become the president since he had been billed as the leader of Mau Mau. That was thought to be a risk for British interests in Kenya. In fact, the last outgoing British governor in the Kenya colony and protectorate described Kenyatta as a leader of darkness and death. By the same token, the nationalist movement in Kenya led by Jaramogi Oginga Odinga regarded Kenyatta as pivotal in terms of radical departure with politics of acquiescence and accommodation. The British had their own lineup of leaders who they had groomed to take over. The latter included Tom Mboya, a darling of both the British and the Americans. Kenyatta later left for England, where he joined forces with the larger anti-colonial movement with such prominent leaders like George Padmore of West Indies, Kwame Nkrumah of Gold Coast, Nehru of India, and Sukarno of Indonesia. This was a worldwide anti-colonial movement. When Kenyatta came back to Kenya shortly after World War II, he joined forces with other nationalist leaders under the banner of Kenya African Union KAU. Prominent among these were Achieng Oneko, Kungu Karumba, Paul Ngei, and Fred Kubai. All of them, included Kenyatta, was sent to prison in Kapenguria. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga orchestrated the freedom of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta and the chant of no Uhuru without Kenyatta.
Jomo Kenyatta is the father of the African nationalism and the African national movement in this country.
But surely you're all rather more advanced than he is in your thinking about politics. Wouldn't he embarrass you if he was really let go now?
We cannot in any sense be more advanced than our teacher and master, whom I think is much more advanced in political outlook in this country than we are. We are still just in the stages of learning politics from him.
That was a high point in Kenyan political history. It was the culmination of the long protracted nationalist struggle that began with Kenyatta in the 1930s and formation of the first crypto-nationalist movement of the Kikuyu Central Association and publication of the paper Mwigwithania. Jaramogi Ajuma Oginga Odinga, born in October 1911 and passed on 20th January 1994, became a prominent figure in Kenya's struggle for independence. He later served as Kenya's vice president under President Jomo Kenyatta and thereafter as opposition leader. As vice president, he did not agree with Jomo Kenyatta's government. While Odinga had called for closer ties with the People's Republic of China, the Soviet Union and other countries of the Warsaw Pact, Kenyatta was in favor of approaching the United States and the Western Bloc. This led to Odinga resigning from his post and quitting KANU in 1966 to form the Kenya People's Union (KPU). The friction between Odinga and Kenyatta continued, and in 1969 Odinga was arrested after the two verbally abused each other publicly at a chaotic function in Kisumu, and where at least 11 people were killed and dozens were injured in the riots.
Mimi nataka kusema maneno machache, na mimi naanza kwa msemo wa Kiswahili usemavyo kwamba asante ya punda ni mateke. Asante ya punda ni mateke. Sisi tunakuja hapa kuwaletea bahati, kuwaletea hospitali ambayo ni ya kutibu wananchi, na kuna vinyangareka wa KPU wanathubutu kuja hapa na kusema maneno machafu.
Na usikubali kwa serikali aende kando. Ikiwa kama unaona sisi tuko na kasoro, sema wazi.
Kama si heshima ya urafiki wetu na wewe Odinga, mimi ningesema tie nguvuni leo. Waangalia ni nani anatawala nchi hii, kama ni KANU au ni vinyangarika wengine wanatawala nchi hii. Walakini Mimi nasema kwamba kama hawa watu wako wachafu, kama wakitoa nyokonyoko, sisi tutawaonyesha kwamba Kenya iko na serikali yake. Hatuwezi kuchezewa sisi. Na wewe Bwana Odinga mwenyewe unajua mimi sina machezo.
Kwa maana ikiwa kama wewe iko kwa kiwanjani ya mpira, kama wewe unacheza, unadhani wewe ndio unajua kushinda watu wote? Si iko watu wengine huko nje ambao wanasema kwa nini hapa napiga kule? Kwa nini yeye hapa napiga kule?
Nimekuacha siku nyingi kwa sababu wewe ni rafiki yangu. Kama si hivyo, wewe najua mimi ningefanya nini. Hapana, kazi yako kuniambia nitume wapi. Mimi najua mwenyewe. Mimi najua mwenyewe. Labda wewe usemao naweza kutupa wewe ndani ya manyani kuliko rafiki yangu.
They told me they've been trying to see Mzee for a long time. They couldn't. So they asked me whether I could assist. And I flatly refused. And then they said something interesting. They said, now we come to you as a child. You have denied us. So maybe we just have to die. He told me, you know what they want to do. They want to bring Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. And he has been getting money from communist countries to destabilize my government. There's money that was being paid to an account in Greatest Bank. And I had known who it was. The signatories were high-ranking people in the government. And when I saw the account, I recognized it, and I had the account in my wallet myself. And I told this account is not Mzee Jaramogi's account. This account is so and so and so. And he said, good Lord. And he said, okay, I'll meet them. And we were in Mombasa. And Mzee told me, you go and tell your Jaluos, including Odinga, I'll see them on the 23rd of August now. I came up, and the 22nd night, that's when Mama Ngina called me. I said, Mzee had passed away.
He was detained for 18 months until the government made the decision to free him on 27th March 1971. He consigned to political limbo until after Kenyatta's death in August 1978. I take the journey on the history lane to explore the philosophy, ideology, leadership and the cost paid by great leaders of the Luo nation. Here is the journey of Mzee Oginga Odinga and his son Raila Odinga. My name is Bushebi Jr.